Yo, what's going on, guys? This is DC Bartron here to show you guys a quick tutorial video on how to set up your controller to better your gameplay in Trials of Osiris gameplay, in Destiny, that is. Now, if you're like me and you don't own a Scuf and you just use a regular controller, to make your gameplay a little easier for you is to use PlayStation Network's custom button assignments. And that being said, you can replace your square button to be a trigger. Any trigger you want. I'm going to show you my custom loadouts that I have for you to show you exactly what I'm talking about and what will make it easier for you in your gameplay. There's so many different things you can do that you can make up your own custom loadouts that you want to make for yourself. Feel free to do so. But here we go. For those that use the default PlayStation 4 controls being the bottom triggers you aim and shoot with, you're going to want to look at setting up yourself with replacing your R or L1 to be your square button. Now, what makes a difficult thing here is that when you've replaced that L1 to be your square button is now L1, so you're having to let go of L1 to hit your grenade. That complicates things just a little bit. So what I've done is I've replaced that L1 button to be your left directional pad button. So instead of having to, when you replace this top trigger on the left side to be your square button, which is now revived, now you can use your bottom left trigger to aim and your right bottom trigger to shoot while holding the top trigger to revive. Taking that square button and hitting your grenade and then letting go of your aim makes things complicating. So what we did here is we moved your square button, or your L1 if you want to think of it that way, to your left directional pad button. In order to do this, go into the PlayStation custom button assignments. And I'm going to show you guys how to get there. So in order to get to your custom button assignments in PlayStation, you're going to want to, you'll see that this is your main screen. Go up to settings. Accessibility. Something you're going to want to do for yourself is turn on the add to quick menu. That way when you hold down your PlayStation home button, it brings you to this screen, and this is your quick menu. You can close the Destiny application, change your sounds and devices options, or even log off or turn off your system. You know this menu. Go all the way down, and then you can go to this menu screen anytime that you're playing Destiny at any point in time and disable enabled button assignments without having to go through and unassign the buttons singular. That just makes things a hell of a lot easier, especially when you're not liking the button setup and it's just not working for you. You can just quickly turn it off and worry about it later. Up to the button assignments though. Went inside of settings, accessibility, down to button assignments. Here you can customize your button assignments. Now this right now is set up for top trigger aiming, but same thing. We're going to go ahead and click this image. It's going to bring you to a screen like this. But for the bottom trigger aiming people that are using the bottom triggers to aim, like this default setup that we have for PlayStation Network, you're going to want to use this loadout here. You can see square is now L1. That's your top left trigger. And you'll just go into that option, choose your square button, and then change L1 to your left directional pad button or your right directional pad button, however you want to set that up for yourself. And you'll see that this one will change by itself when you change one or the other. And that will look like this when you are done. So your screen should show you in your custom button setup when you back out and you actually hit confirm. on your screen. Go down and you actually, you change something to something, and you go down and you hit confirm. It'll bring you back to this screen where you'll see exactly what you have set up for yourself. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish here, is being able to revive and not let go of your thumbstick, and that's what this is doing. Hitting that square button to revive while aiming and shooting with your bottom triggers, and throwing a grenade without feeling uncomfortable and being able to aim while doing it. That's this setup for you guys that aim with the bottom triggers and shoot with the bottom triggers. For those that use the top triggers to aim and shoot, there's a different setup here for you. Top triggers in Destiny, like PS3 gameplay, makes your grenade be L2 and your R2 is melee. So same thing as bottom trigger shooters, you're just going to do a little adjustment. Your square is now going to be your L1. Or your square is now going to be your L2 for the top trigger shooters. And then your L2 is now going to be the left directional pad. For PlayStation Network displays, that how it would look is you have your controller set up. Square is now L2. Your square button, which is revive, reload, and shoot, or reload and pick up ammo, is now going to be L2, bottom trigger. This is top trigger shooting. Squoozy. Bottom trigger. No, that's right. Top trigger shooting. And then throwing a grenade would be that left directional pad. Same setup as what I just showed you before. Not as complex. It's just a simple change, simple thing to adjust to. You can go more complex with your setups if you'd like, and I'll show you a more complex setup here in a moment. So that looks like this on PSN. When you go to adjust that stuff, you have your square button is changed to L2, and your L2 is changed to your left directional pad button, which in return will change your square to your left directional pad button by default. Once you change a few settings, other things will change. You will see that. And then you go through and once again hit confirm. You save that setting by just going down and hitting that confirm button once you have saved your settings to what you want it to be. And it should look like this once you are done. Something more complex than that though, something that I am currently using, is I changed my button layout to jumper on Destiny's default loadout. This is the jumper display that they have in the button layouts options in Destiny. And what it does is it changes your L2 to jump when you're using the top triggers to aim. Otherwise, if you're using the bottom triggers to aim, it would change your L1 to jump. And then of course your right side triggers are the same, where it's shooting grenade. And it changes your X super ability to being your super versus having to press the top triggers or the bottom triggers in the combination to pop your super. It just makes one button your super. So what I actually did is made this setup for me, which I fucking love this setup, is I made my bottom directional pad button my super ability. So I've removed X over to the bottom left trigger, or bottom left directional pad button. And I've made my grenade, just like every other one, is my left directional pad button. And I've made my L2 my revive button. Let me go ahead and show you this really crazy setup. I'm not saying that you need to try this, but maybe you might like this. Also, I made my jump button my right thumbstick, so when I'm playing that shotgun gameplay and I am getting in serious shotgun fights, I don't have to let go of my thumbstick when I jump. And that makes stuff a hell of a lot nicer being able to do that. So let's go ahead and check this out. this is what the custom button assignments look like in the PSN for top trigger shooting. Now, that looks like a lot of mess right there. And that's where you'll definitely want to pause your video when you set this one up. But you can see my X button is now my down directional pad button. And like I said before, the jumper setup for X in Destiny is the super ability. X is the super ability. I made my grenade, which is R2. R2, just like you can see, is grenade. Makes it a little easier so I don't have to let go of that right thumbstick to throw a grenade where it was in square before. Things right here is just, honestly, the only thing I can really say is taking the opportunity to try it for yourself and see what you think of the setup, and trying out your own layouts, your own setups, and seeing what you can come up with for yourself. But here you are, is the jumper setup that I have. If you want to, you can take a moment to pause this video and change it for yourself. You can see the setup that I have, circle being that left directional pad button. It's all loaded up for you, so that way you don't have to do the work and you can just make this one for yourself and try it out, see what it feels like. You guys might actually enjoy this. It doesn't really change too much of your gameplay, although it does make it weird when you're going through PlayStation menu and you're selecting things, having to use the X button as your bottom directional pad button and using your circle button as your X. It does make things a little weird, but for your Destiny gameplay, it is crispy. I love it. It is quite crispy, and that's why I'm making this video for you guys. So that's my setup. Jumper is what I'm currently using. I started out with just using the square button as my bottom left trigger because I shoot with the top triggers, and being able to aim and shoot at the same time and revive. It was great. It was great. Loved it. But then I wanted more. So I went to jumper and made my super ability because I had to press square, which is my grenade button. Actually, I had to press the left directional pad button and the right trigger in order to pop my super. That made things weird, made things difficult. So I went to jumper. Now I press one button and I can pop my super rather than having to press two buttons and think about where those buttons are. I press one button and I pop my super. It's fucking great. Best thing I could have done for myself. Made it so much easier, and that's what this loadout here is for. If you're going to be using the bottom triggers to shoot and the top triggers for your other things and the jumper setup, it's going to change your L2 and it's going to change your R2 to being aim down sights and shoot. That means therefore L2 and R2 is now grenade and jump. So looking back at the PlayStation settings, therefore you would change your R2 to R1 for this one here, and you would change your L2 to L1 right here. There's only two things you would really have to be concerned about changing. That will set you up for the jumper setup like I have, using the bottom triggers to shoot and aim. Well guys, I hope you did enjoy this video, and I hope it was helpful to you and it makes your Destiny gameplay in Trials of Osiris better, and being able to revive and not let go of your thumbsticks, doing so without having to buy a Scuf and spend that that certain amount of money to buying that Scuf. I really hope this video makes it easier for you and makes it better for you. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, share this video if you like, and as always, DC Bartron's out. Peace.